cute little arrangement in this wood box with a rustic holiday theme. So the first thing you're going to do is put your floral foam inside with a little bit of hot glue right in the center at the bottom. And we're going to put our moss on top. Just nestle it in, cut off any excess if it's in the way. And then we're going to take our greenery, which comes in these big long pieces that I'm breaking down and breaking apart. So I just kind of pull away at the paper, trim them a little, and get them good to go. Two kinds of greenery today, so we're using the lovely pine that's here, and then we're also using some of this cypress as well that we'll pull into littler pieces. So what I'm going to do is first nestle in this pine greenery because it's our bigger greenery, and I'm going to create just a little bit of a base of that. So I'm cutting my stem just to make it a little shorter because it doesn't need to go too far since this box is only about a couple inches high. And I want to go and kind of come around. So I'm pushing this right into the floral foam. And then I can move my pieces however kind of works for me. I like how they look. And I want to go around the box with 4 pieces. And then I want to come in with the one in the center as well. So I'm taking off the brown wire on this one, and I'm just going to go with this plastic piece here. The floral foam does a good job of holding. The moss gives it a little extra hold as well. And then these pieces can actually kind of be bent down in the direction you need also. So this one I just pulled off another piece, so I'm actually going to add a short little stem to that so that it has a little room. So there's a hole in the bottom, and I'm just going to stick this wire right inside and then cut it a little bit shorter because it does not need to be too tall. Oops, that one went flying. And then I'm going to come in. This is a good one. I like it on the edge because it's got the pine cone, and I want everyone to see that. I'm going to do another one of these little ones right in the center here because I want to leave room for the cypress too. So there is some of everything. I really need to not let my wires go flying. This one's I'm just putting right in the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4 around. I do them on the corners. One sticking up in the center. So we're going to add one more here. And then, ooh, this piece fell off. If they fall off, you can pop them back on. You can use a little glue if you want to. Usually they'll stay. And then this has got my pine base. Once I've got the pine base, move things around as I want to. Give it a spin. So if you have a Lazy Susan, it's great to put your arrangement on there, but if you don't, no worries. So we've created some real volume so far in this, right? I love that. There's going to be lots of room for our gorgeous wood flowers. So now we're going to come in with this cypress. I'm going to move my greenery over here. And we're going to get a little bit of this cypress action going on. So they come in longer stems, but if I put this all in there, it would be way too tall. It would like stick up really funny. So I'm actually going to cut these stems down a little bit shorter and sneak them in to different spots. So I cut this one, I don't know if I cut it in half, something like that. I'm just going to kind of come in here at an angle and then kind of work the pieces however I like. I do want to save some room for the flowers because they take up space too. So I'm just kind of looking for where there's a gap, where I want to add a little piece of greenery in here. And I like this has got that like fun snowy look to it, which is cute. Add a little bit more of that in. So I'm going to do just a couple more pieces of that. Great. Put there. If it's got too much snow on it, it's going to be messy, but you can actually pull some off if you think it's like a little too much, and loosen up the snow and let a little more greenery show through if you want to. Thinking about my really snowy pieces, I'm kind of putting them opposite each other so that they're not like right on top of each other there. I'm going to come in with one more right here. Yeah. Okay, so now I've got this cute little base, which has got some snow. This one piece might look like it's sticking up a bit too much for my liking, so I'm going to probably bend this wire a little. Yeah, there we go. Stick in there, something like that. There we go. Alright, so we've got the base of greenery. The next thing we want to do is put this aside, over here, and we are going to take our gorgeous wood flowers. So I have some bark flowers here, and the bark flowers kind of remind me of pine cones, which is fun. We've got some lovely dusty rose pink flowers, which I like pink in my Christmas arrangements. And then we've got some of this gorgeous burgundy in sort of roses in a peony-esque thing with this nice little bark center, which is fun. So we're going to stem these flowers and we're going to work them into our arrangement. You can stem them first or you can stem them as you go. The most important thing is like your favorite flower. That favorite flower is going to be the one that you really like showcase. So that favorite flower needs to go not down at the bottom, not straight up top, but on the top at an angle so that everybody kind of sees it when you look at it. So do find like that side that you feel is the front, and that's going to be the side that you really want to make sure you showcase. Like for me, it's this side. This is the front. I like it. So that's where I want to showcase my flower. So I'm going to just grab my stem, which I've pre-cut some into like littler pieces just to make my life easier. But you can also stem with a longer stem and then cut it down to whatever length you need. Even these might need to be cut down just a little bit. Okay, so knowing where my front is, I know I want this flower to be front and center. So I'm going to place it in right here. And so you can see right in the front, showcase, star of the show. Then I want to come in and I want to like take my other burgundy flowers. And I want to think about this in a couple ways. One is if I'm looking at it from the top, I want to go triangular with my burgundy flowers. If I'm thinking about it from the side, height-wise, I also want to go triangular. Have high, a medium, and a low so that I get a lot of depth and variety in my flowers. Of course, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. It's your flower arrangement and you can make it look however you would like. So I'm going to sneak my stem right into here. And I'm going to come down here and in the back, actually see a great little spot that I'm going to sneak this in underneath the greenery and up just a little right there. And then this one's going to go medium and I'm going to do it right over here by this pine cone. So get a little stem. My fake snow is everywhere. You probably can't see the mess on my table, but I can. All right. And this is way too long of a wire, so I'm going to cut it a little. Hey, the first one that didn't go flying off my table. And you want to avoid going in and out of the foam too much. You can do it a few times, but at some point, if you do it too much, then you kind of create a looser foam that won't hold as well. So we've got the basics, right? We've got our burgundy in there. Now I'm going to stem, I'm going to do these. These ones are little, so I'm going to do them last. No, I'm going to do them next, because these are a little bit cuter to sit more on top. So I'm going to go with these, because they can be hidden a little bit underneath, more as an accent flower. So I'm just going to stem my 3 bark flowers. And what's fun about these is that you can see the actual bark from the root of the plant that the inner part comes from. So these ones are a lot thicker if you ever get any of these. And they don't bend quite as easy just because they have the bark on them. And then you can see the ivory on the inside. That is the inner pith of the plant that creates the soul of flowers. The other ones that you see, of course, they might be painted a color. But that's the inner part. So I'm going to come up here. I really like, this is my fave. So I'm going to sneak this one down low here because I think that's a nice place to showcase that one. And then I'm going to come up here and we're going to go a little higher here. I don't know which one I like better. I think I like this one better because it's bigger. There we go. And then I'm going to come and go like medium somewhere back here. If you're finding hot glue strings, just pull them off, which is what I'm doing. They love to sneak everywhere. They're just there. Yeah, it's cute. I don't know. I may move one. We'll see. I kind of think I like it for now. So I've got 3 more flowers. I've got the pretty pink flowers. So we are going to fill this nice high spot up here with the tall one. Or they're not tall, but I guess it's the bigger of the 3 flowers. So to stem the flowers, by the way, I'm just putting a little bit of hot glue right on the bottom and gently twisting and pushing this in. It's really important when you stem your flowers that you hold the wire just a little bit above. It's about an inch and maybe half an inch. If you hold it too far back, it'll bend when you go to put it in. So here, gently cuff your flower, twist and push, a little bit of hot glue in that spot, and you're good to go. You can stem it first, pull it out, put some glue, put the stem back in, Or you can just put some glue right on the flower and then just push the stem in if you're comfortable with that. That's the way I do it because I just think it saves time, but you can absolutely do it the other way if you just want to be sure. Get a little extra glue in there. This flower is sticking up just the tiniest bit too much, and I can sort of see the bottom of the flower. So I'm going to cut a little bit off there and let that wire go flying. And then I'm placing this in. So I didn't like where it was. I pulled it out. No big deal. I can put it back in. There we go. Still feel. There we go. Oh, this one wants to pop up a little. Too much for my liking. Hey, that's perfect. Okay. So now, as I spin, I'm going to see where my gaps are. I know I need a flower down here, and I need a flower over here. So I'm going to take these other ones, see where I can't work in a little flower. If I need to, this is the good time to like move something. So you might realize like a piece of greenery needs to be adjusted or switched up a little. So for me, I almost feel like I need to move this piece of greenery over a little, and I'm going to create room in here, I think. Yep, for that flower. So don't be afraid to pull a piece out if you feel like it's just not in the right spot, it's not doing what you want it to do. Beauty of floral foam, you won't really mess anything up there. Yeah. Sneak that flower right in there so you can see in the front now. I still have a little bit of a gap, so I actually want to move this bark flower over just a little, just like it's a gap. And then I want to get this other pink flower is going to come in over here somewhere. Kind of playing with how I want it to look with the greenery that's over here. I don't want to hide this pine cone, so I'm just working it a little here. I'm pulling this piece of greenery out, and I'm actually just flip-flopping the direction of it so that a piece sticks up higher, another piece goes a little lower. Yeah, I think we got it. And so sometimes you just gotta finesse it like that, where you can't really see. At first, you're not sure where the flowers are gonna go. This one's a little tough to stem, so I'm gonna add a little extra glue on the bottom because it kind of hit the bark on the inside. Didn't want to go in too far. In general, you just need to stem those flowers just a little bit. Doesn't need to be a lot. Okay. So now I'm moving it around. I'm just checking, like, do I like where everything is? Do I need to move anything? This one feels a little high because it's the same height as the one next to it, so I'm going to cut it a little shorter so that I don't have two flowers at the exact same height right next to each other. Yeah. So we're spinning. Cute little base here. I actually really like that. Okay, and so this is not quite done, right? We still want to add in some fun fillers and other things. So depending on what you have around for fillers, you can add like whatever you want. These have little bells, but I don't want to add the bells because the red doesn't seem right to me in there. I'm going to start off with just some little extra white and green filler. And so I'm just going to cut these stems down a little because they're definitely too long. And what I'm looking for is gaps, spots that just need a little something extra because there's a gap there. And maybe you can't move the flower around. This one's not going in. It's definitely hitting. Whoop. There we go. And then once your filler's in, sometimes you can even move it a little bit around also. You know what? I actually don't love it. You're pulling that one out. So we're going to do a different filler in there. I think we're going to use some, let's see. Ooh, this would be cute. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit of this faux pampas grass, feathery grass kind of stuff in here. This will be super cute. So, I don't want a lot of it, just a little. Just add a little bit of a lightness to it. So I pulled 2 pieces off. I'm just going to trim these edges. And you can do 2 things. You could stem this a little more if you want. This has a little stem and these don't because I pulled them off. So you could stem these. Sometimes if there's a tight enough space, I'll just put them between the greenery with maybe a little tiny bit of glue on there and let it go. So I'm going to sneak this one in because it's got a stem. Ooh, there we go. Get that little feather coming up. I'm going to add a little glue on the bottom of this one. Put a stem in. The stem doesn't need to be long, so I'm actually going to put a little glue on this side. And put a little stem in. Hot glue is your friend. You could also use floral tape for this if you wanted. And then I'm going to find my other spots. I want to sneak this in right over here in the front by that red flower for sure. A super sweet spot. Maybe the angle of it a little. I like it coming straight out though. So all I'm doing is looking, playing, thinking, do I like it there? Do I want to move it? I'm going to move that piece of greenery over a little. Try to sneak it more on this side. And sometimes I just take a flower out, put the other piece in, and I'll put the flower back inside. Yeah, that's already a better spot. I like it by the pink. There we go. And then I got one more of those. Things are really beautiful in threes in floral arrangements, but that doesn't mean you have to always follow that rule. So you can absolutely play around a little with that and do more than three of something if you want to. How about just finding the right spot? So I like to have those at different angles too. And then we want to add a little bit more of some other kind of filler in here. So I'm thinking, let's see. Actually, this might be really fun. I'm going to use these little blueberries that I have. And these also come on a stem, so I'm going to pull these pieces apart. So I've got some extra pieces, and I don't really like the leaves, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I've got these 3 little blueberries. So looking at it from the front, seeing where is there a gap, where is there a spot. It's got a stem, so I don't really need to stem it. But to be honest, you could stem it. You could do a little bit of, just wrap this around another wire to make it a little bit longer if you wanted to. So I'm going to stay a little bit focused on the front of the arrangement just because that's where we're really looking here. Make sure I work the blueberries in at different levels. You don't have them all in the same height necessarily. That one's sticking up a little bit, and then I'm going to do one more. I threw away the blueberry. Not the greenery, apparently. Or I lost my other blueberry. Hold on. I lost it. Grab another one. Alright. Actually, I don't think I did. I think I thought there was 3 blueberries, and it turned out it was actually 2 leaves, 2 blueberries. Okay. So now I'm just looking and seeing where else do I need one. So somewhere back here, a little gap over here. So I'm going to sneak a blueberry in there. Move my greenery around a little, nestle it in. And I sort of want one right in the very front. So this pine cone's got a little gap next to it. Just need a little something. Baby's breath would be real sweet in this. Maybe a few more pine cones I wouldn't hate. I kind of like that. So at the end, you've got this cute little arrangement. You do a little spin, look at it from all directions, look at it from the top, look at it from higher and lower, and give yourself a chance just to decide if it works for you, and if you love it. If you do, awesome, you're good to go. And then you can just really take care of this flower arrangement by keeping it out of direct sunlight, not letting your cats and dogs eat it. And if for any reason your flower ever does get a break, any kind of paint that is a similar color, from nail polish to house paint to craft acrylic paint, just water it down a little bit, add the paint in, and kind of like touch it up, and you're good to go. So have a great time making your arrangement.